Welcome back, everybody, to Kerrigan and Company. We're so glad that you could be with us for this episode, which is a special episode. As I mentioned, keeping me company today, of course, is psychic medium Candace Dalton. And in just a little while, a winner of our contest. We had a contest to see who would come in and get a free reading from her here in the studio, on the air. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a ton of fun, so we're really looking forward to that.
Can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
I'm looking forward to our next guest because I think we can get a whole bunch of gossip from this nice lady. She's actually originally from our area. Now lives down in the D.C. area. She is the co-host of one of the most popular podcasts in this country, Beyond the Blinds. We are so happy that Kelli Williams is with us today, and it's great to see you.
Thank you for having me. I was saying it's such a huge deal just to do a show near the garden and all that. I told my dad, he was like, "You're going to go to the Bobby Orr statue?" Yeah. I'm like, I can't think of the name of the word, but yeah, the statue. I'm like, of course.
Right. A moment by the statue, and it doesn't matter the rest of it, right? Yeah. Dad just wants to see you by the statue.
Exactly. Like, just see Bobby Orr. I'm like, right. I'll do it. Okay.
Tell him I said hi.
Exactly.
Well, you're in town because you and your co-host, you guys do a traveling show.
We do.
Which is tons of fun. You're going to be at City Winery, so congratulations to you on that.
Thank you.
Which is great. And how long are you going to be out on the road? You guys are going to a lot of cities.
Yeah, we are going to be doing live shows till the end of November.
Wow.
We do a break for July, August, September, and then we're right back out there. It's really fun. It's really great. And I get to travel to places I'd probably never go otherwise. So it's really fun.
Right.
Absolutely. Good for you.
Thank you.
Beyond the Blinds, let's explain to everybody what that means, the name of the podcast.
Yeah. So originally we started it in 2021, and I called my now co-host with this idea of talking about blind items, because I noticed they started to become more mainstream, but they hadn't really hit podcasts just yet. It was Dumois and then Crazy Days and Nights. And I'm like, let's make this into a podcast. But we wanted to do more than just reading blind items. So we try and do deeper dives into, what was going on in the celebrity's life at that time, and more than just reciting these blinds back. We wanted to add more personality to them, give more context, things like that.
Sure. And it worked.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been really fun.
Absolutely.
You and your co-hosts are really good, too. I've listened to a few episodes, and you guys crack me up. And you guys have really just a great way of diving deep, but also putting some humor into it.
Yeah. A lot of it's dark Hollywood stuff, but we try and make as much light of it as we can, because, and at live shows, we do not talk dark Hollywood because we want people to have fun.
Sure. Absolutely. Now, let me ask you, this is my only serious question I'm going to ask you. But do you ever worry that maybe these things are not true and you're repeating them?
Yeah, that's something that we've definitely struggled with. Yeah. But we try and say at the top of the show, we don't know what's true, we don't know what's false, take what you will. But there are those moments where I'm like, ugh, do I want to put that out there? But then I always try and be like, but I don't think that one was true. After a blind item, I'll be like, that one wasn't real.
Allegedly.
I'm like, that one feels like fanfic. I don't know.
I love it. It's great. Well, we were talking amongst ourselves about, I know when you come to a city, you like to sort of talk about the local celebrities. So one jumped out at me immediately, and I'm wondering if you guys are going to talk about this, because I can't imagine that you're not. And that would be Bill Belichick and that girlfriend of his, Jordan Hudson.
So at the end of our live shows, we always we do a Q&A. And we've done 3 live shows. Every single one has asked me, and I'm like, thank God I can talk about the Patriots, because that's kind of my Boston team that I follow. I don't know if I'm kind of obsessed with it. And I don't know if it's a good or bad one.
Right.
Yeah.
But the other day she posted on her Instagram story, she was eating Old Bay with crabs. And she's like, Old Bay with my Old Bay. And I'm like, they're going to get a reality show. In my heart, I feel like they're going to end up on television, and I will watch every episode.
Well, I think everybody will. I couldn't agree with you more.
I would love to know how they met.
I just want to hear a conversation.
They met on an airplane.
What?
Allegedly.
Yeah, they allegedly, right.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, they met on an airplane. She was sitting next to him.
Yeah. I just need to hear a conversation with them.
I know.
Right. I want to know what they talk about. Do they talk about the same things? Do they have the same interest?
Just anything.
No, they don't. Let me take a deep dive for you guys.
She's like, let me tell you.
I have a 24-year-old. She would have no more interest in what Bill Belichick has to say. Now, she might be interested in his money and the parties they go to and the outfits she can buy, but she would have no interest in what he has to say.
I know. It's brutal.
It's brutal.
Do you really enjoy it, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, at this point,
I don't know. I think it's more about the shoes. That's all I can see.
And he doesn't seem like he's a big talker to begin with.
Right.
You know, he's always been kind of like the quiet, grump, curmudgeon coach.
Right.
And even in was it CBS Sunday Morning when she's like interjecting, being like, we're not going to answer that. I'm like, you've already told us 100 times how you met.
I mean, and you know the slogan, "In Bill we trust."
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that.
No, not anymore. Not anymore.
We're not sure. I don't know. It just is a weird concept. To me.
It's a very unusual pairing. I think if there was anybody that would have told me 10 years ago that Bill Belichick would be dating a girl who could be his granddaughter, I would have said that's insanity.
I always think about Linda Holiday, too.
Yeah.
What does she think?
I love Linda.
She's gorgeous, beautiful.
We were my producer and I were just at a function and she was there. And she's making it very clear that she's single. Love Hotel. So on
Love
Bravo,
Hotel.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so last week, Jay Bramble, who is from here, and I used to work with at Fox 25 here. I worked for Fox with him. Jay was here.
I saw the clips. He seemed so nice.
I know, and I wanted to ask you about this because this week, so Jay was here last Tuesday, and now on the 5th or the 6th episode of 8, this last weekend, Jay bowed out.
Yeah, I don't know, watching the show, I'm into it, but I'm also like, what's going on? You know, it's really interesting watching like Ashley Darby trying to figure out who she wants to date. Luann to me is just such a star.
Yes.
I'll watch her do pretty much anything. But Jay seemed like too normal for the show.
Yeah.
That's kind of how the vibe I got from him.
You know, he sort of came off when he bowed out like a hero. And so I'm wondering, do you think we'll see Jay on another reality show? Ooh.
I don't know. Do you think?
I do.
Yeah. I think he'd be great.
I think he could be like I know Jay beyond what I saw on TV. And Jay is a super nice guy. And wouldn't it be great if they did like a reality show about a really nice guy and what happens to him along
that
the
would
way?
be really nice.
I don't know if Bravo would like buy that, but maybe another network would.
Well, I was saying maybe he'll be on The Bachelorette. Who knows?
Ooh, the Golden Bachelorette or something?
I think he could.
That'd be nice.
He's in his 50s.
Okay.
He could be in the medium Bachelor.
Not this medium bachelor.
No, not that medium Bachelor. But by the way, is anything coming through
Well, when we were starting and everything, it was a grandmother, your dad's mom, that's passed, that she's quiet. She hangs back. But
what's funny is she's the reason I got into pop culture.
That's amazing.
So
it was when I hugged you, it was like the energy right behind you was incredible.
I always give her, I got chills when you said that because I always give her credit for getting me into pop culture.
She's a hot shit. She's totally here with you.
Yeah.
Okay, she's going on this journey. She gets free tickets, plane rides, you name it. So she's very proud of you.
Yeah.
She's smoking a cig and she's like, you know.
Sounds right.
She knows that you hit other things, but we won't tell anybody. So
she's legal in Massachusetts.
Could you just check? Does she agree that Bill Belichick, this whole thing, is she with me on this?
She's wondering why she wasn't discovered, you know? I feel like she's like, screw men, you know? She doesn't care for men.
Yeah. All right, so Kelli Williams is with us here, by the way. And she's the co-host of Beyond the Blinds. Great podcast. You can get it wherever you get your podcast. Be sure you check it out. Okay, so what's one of your favorite gossip stories that you guys have talked about or your deep dive stories that you could share with us?
There have honestly been so many. Like our podcast this week dives into Jared Leto and his alleged cult that he has put together. Alleged heavily, you know. He's never been convicted of anything. But we talk a lot about him. We've talked, like, I'd say with Troy and I, one of our biggest common denominators is like boy bands and like 90s pop. So we've talked a lot about Lou Pearlman, who created Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, LFO, who's from Massachusetts, you know.
I brought through Rich Cronin before from
my
LFO.
God. I'm
love
like,
that.
is he here? I would love Rich Cronin.
He can go with me anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. I will sing Summer Girls all day with him.
Same.
You know?
We'll do it together.
But I would say like Lou Pearlman is kind of someone who like always is popping up for us.
Well,
he's
for
such,
good
like,
reason, too, because he's really, I mean, he's turned out to be not a good guy.
Exactly.
You know?
And he's kind of the blueprint of what we see with like, you know, Justin Bieber being performing for so long, even when he didn't look healthy to perform.
Absolutely.
That was like a Lou Pearlman thing, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Sure.
So,
Absolutely. You know, you guys did a show not too long ago about country singers.
Yes.
I'm a huge country fan.
Okay.
And I was talking to Candace about this before you came in, but Morgan Wallen, love his music, absolutely sometimes think I'd like to run him over with a car.
honestly, like,
What is wrong with that guy?
I don't know, but nothing sticks to him.
I know.
You
How
he
about
does,
be
like, all these
appreciative? Try this, right?
Yeah.
Everything rolls right off.
It's like he can't learn anything because no one holds him accountable.
Yes.
They took his music off air for what, like 2 months?
Yeah.
And that's about it.
and he's living
and
just
he came
fine.
back bigger than he was before.
Exactly.
It actually played in his favor,
Yeah.
you know. And he's sort of one of those celebrities who, and there's a lot of them actually, but he's one of those celebrities who takes negative things and turns it into something positive for himself.
Yeah. Exactly. He doesn't learn from it. He just makes merch out of it.
Yeah,
or
I think that's so true. That is so true. Well, another one of those too is, of course, Britney Spears. She
Yes.
seems to, and I don't really even know what Britney Spears does anymore, except be gossiped about.
Yeah, I just like feel for Britney. You know, I think when you're in something like the conservatorship she was in, and like she couldn't even drink caffeine on that conservatorship. So it's like,
What is that about?
Yeah,
Kelli?
I don't know. I just feel like it like stunted her. I think. I always say I think conservatorships are helpful if they're done correctly. You know, if you go into it and actually do what you're supposed to do, instead of being like, you know, you're not allowed to do all these things, but you're going to work and make money for us. And you're going to be put on lithium for 30 days when you're not supposed to be on lithium for that long.
Right.
And I just think there's been so much damage done.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it's like
for
she's
sure.
probably acting out because she finally can.
That's exactly what I think too. Is I see her on Instagram and I feel so bad because you can see her. She just spins, you know, in
Yeah.
circles
Yeah.
and she's whipping her hair around.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you trying to be childlike because that was stripped from you, or is it just everything that you were put through that you were just have no care in the world, that you don't even know what you're doing?
Yeah, and then there's this theory that people who get like super famous like her or like a Justin Bieber, Justin Timberlake, that kind of they get stuck at the age they got famous at, which I think is really interesting.
And really kind of makes sense if you
Yeah.
because I mean it's your best days.
Exactly.
At least that's what you think.
Yeah.
They're turned
Yeah.
into workhorses.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, what do you do if you've always been a public figure, but you're no longer like good for public consumption? How do you switch that? And how do you turn that off and like be okay with that, I guess?
And I think we've all had high days where we're like, that was a great day, like work-wise, where you feel like you're on a high. And I call it the burn and crash because then you're just like, now what?
Exactly.
Now what? You
Yeah,
know, they've had
absolutely.
it all. So
yeah,
now
they've
what?
had it all, and then you come crashing down. I think that's so true. Anything else? What are you guys going to talk about during the shows?
So we always try and pick a local celebrity. For
Yes.
Boston, we did have to expand to New England because we've covered a lot of Boston celebrities. But we're going to be doing John Mayer tonight from Connecticut, went to school in Boston. I was like, we can reach a little.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
so
I think
usually,
that's fine.
Yeah, usually we try and find a celebrity from the area
Yeah.
and cover them
Yeah.
to make it like more fun and more personalized to the city.
John Mayer, another guy who is incredibly talented and has done some really stupid things.
Revisit his Playboy interview from 2010 and you're like, what is going on there?
The gossip that's behind him,
This
too.
is the guy
is
who
like,
sang Gravity, for goodness sakes. Come on, dude. What is wrong?
Exactly. I'm like, oh my God.
keep the songs golden. Don't do
right.
anything else.
We always say sometimes you have to separate the art from the artist.
Yes.
You know,
That
you
is
got
so
to do
true.
that.
That's so true.
hard though.
Talk about the future for you. What's going to happen? Are there some big things coming?
I mean, we have our live shows. I am thinking I'm probably going to be bringing back a solo podcast so I can interview people again. I really miss that aspect of it. And just talk about life. You know, pop culture is fun and everything, but I also like to, you know, share personal stories and
Sure.
things like that. So probably launching a solo podcast and then just traveling and doing the live shows with Troy. And we have a lot of fun doing that.
Good for
so
you.
fun.
It's
Yeah.
great. It's
Yeah.
terrific. Well, her name is Kelli Williams, and of course, the podcast is Beyond the Blinds. And again, you can get that wherever you get your podcasts. Kelly's going to be at City Winery. Unfortunately, this drops today, and she's going to be there tonight.
Well, that's
but you
okay.
can certainly go to the website and check it out because she's going to be in a lot of other cities.
Yeah.
And be sure to keep an eye out when they come back back this direction.
We'll always be back in Boston.
Absolutely. I know you will. And we'll look forward to it. And when you come back, you got to come back again.
Yeah, thank you so much
We'll
for
dish a little
having me.
more, a little more dirt, right?
Maybe more Bill and George. Maybe by that time there'll be a show.
Well, they claim they're getting married.
Oh,
I can't. Oh my God.
They, of course, I don't know who they are, but
It's like me just saying.
we'll see, right? Kelli, thank
Yes,
you.
Thank you for
so
having
much.
me.
Great
Thank
fun.
you.
All right, when we come back, we're going to have that special reading for that contest winner. This is Kerrigan and Company.